South China Sea, daytime patrol conditions. The US aircraft was not conducting an attack. It was not maneuvering aggressively. It was not entering restricted airspace. It was flying a routine patrol, predictable altitude, steady speed, standard operating profile, the kind of mission flown dozens of times before, until a Chinese warship below did something that immediately changed the tone of the encounter, not with missiles, not with radar, but with light. The first indication, not visible to the eye. There was no explosion, no impact sound, no warning call over emergency channels. Instead, cockpit sensors reacted first. Anomalous energy detection, sudden glare alerts, optical systems reporting saturation. Something was reaching up from the sea. Unverified, initial laser detection. According to unverified OSINT assessments, the aircraft's warning systems detected focused electromagnetic energy consistent with ship-mounted laser or directed energy illumination. No official confirmation of weapon type or power level has been released, but to the crew on board, classification mattered less than consequence, because lasers don't need to hit you to be dangerous. Why lasers are a big deal in modern warfare. Lasers are not warning shots, they are precision tools. They can, blind sensors disrupt targeting systems, overwhelm optical tracking, temporarily or permanently damage eyesight, and unlike missiles, they don't leave debris. That makes them perfect for gray zone escalation. The aircraft and why it was targeted. The US aircraft was operating in international airspace, likely conducting maritime surveillance, surface tracking, electronic intelligence collection. Nothing unusual, which made the laser illumination more alarming. Because it wasn't defensive, it was intentional interference. Inside the cockpit, controlled chaos. The crew did not panic. They followed training. Eyes shielded, sensors recalibrated, flight path stabilized, but the situation was now hostile. This was no longer passive monitoring. This was direct interaction. Unverified, laser aiming behavior. Unverified reports suggest the laser may have been directed toward the aircraft's sensor suite rather than the cockpit itself. This distinction is important, but remains unconfirmed. Either way, the message was unmistakable. You are being targeted. The Chinese warship below. From the surface, the Chinese vessel showed no outward aggression, no missile doors opening, no guns tracking upward, no radio challenge issued. That restraint made the laser more unsettling, because it meant the action was calculated, not reactive. Why this was a dangerous escalation. Laser illumination sits in a legal gray area. It is not classified as a kinetic attack, hard to prove after the fact, easily denied, but it carries real risk. One misalignment, one unexpected maneuver, one pilot distraction, and lives could be lost. The US aircraft does not immediately leave. This is critical. The aircraft did not turn away. It did not abort the mission. Instead, it adjusted altitude slightly and maintained course. That decision was deliberate. Leaving immediately could signal coercion success. Staying too long could invite further escalation. The signal goes out. Within seconds, the incident was no longer isolated. Data was transmitted. Command centers alerted. Naval assets informed. This was now a theater-level event. Unverified. Command notification. Unverified sources suggest the incident was relayed to both naval and air command elements operating nearby. Official confirmation has not been released, but response planning doesn't wait for press statements. Why the laser mattered more than a missile lock. Missile locks are expected. They are trained for. Lasers are different. They are silent, instant, ambiguous. They blur the line between harassment and attack, and that ambiguity is what makes them dangerous. The warship maintains position. The Chinese vessel did not disengage. It did not power down. It did not issue clarification. That silence spoke volumes, because if this were an accident, correction would follow. None came. The aircraft crew makes a critical decision. The aircraft continued its patrol for a short time longer, just long enough. Then, without drama, it adjusted course and exited the immediate area. Not in retreat, but in completion. Why this wasn't the end, only the beginning. Laser incidents don't end when the beam shuts off. They trigger response chains, investigations, posture shifts, force adjustments, and sometimes demonstrations of power. The US response is already forming. While the aircraft returned safely, commanders now faced a decision: ignore it and invite repetition, publicly protest and gain nothing operationally, or respond indirectly in a way that cannot be ignored, because what happened next did not involve words. It involved movement, aircraft repositioning, ships altering patrol patterns, and a show of force that made one thing clear: this laser incident would not pass quietly. The aftermath, silence before the response. response. When the US aircraft exited the area, the encounter was not over. It was just paused. In modern military operations, the most dangerous moment often comes after the incident, when commanders decide whether the line has merely been tested or crossed. And this time, that decision did not take long. Why this incident couldn't be ignored. Laser illumination of a military aircraft is not an accident. It requires precise tracking, stable platform alignment, intentional activation. This was not weather interference, not equipment malfunction. It was a deliberate act, and from a strategic perspective, allowing it to pass without response would have set a precedent. The US response begins quietly. There was no immediate press conference, no public warning shot, no emergency broadcast. Instead, movement began, silent, coordinated, overwhelming. Unverified force posture shift. Unverified OSINT reports suggest US naval and air assets in the region adjusted patrol density and readiness levels following the incident. Official confirmation has not been released, but the signs were there. AIR power moves first. Within hours, additional US aircraft were airborne, not to provoke, not to confront, but to dominate the airspace. Surveillance planes expanded coverage. Fighter patrols tightened their orbits. Response times shortened dramatically. The message was subtle but unmistakable. We are watching everything now. Why air dominance was the first signal. Air power is visibility. It is presence without contact. By increasing aerial operations, the US demonstrated situational awareness, readiness control of escalation. No shots fired, but pressure applied. The naval response, more important than it looked. At sea, US warships adjusted their posture, not by charging forward, but by spreading out. This matters. Spacing changes defensive geometry. It complicates targeting. It widens response options. The carrier strike group became harder to threaten, not louder. Unverified escort realignment. Unverified analysts believe escort ships repositioned to expand radar and sensor overlap, reducing vulnerability to further gray zone harassment. This remains speculative. Still, the effect was immediate. The Chinese warship was no longer interacting with one aircraft. It was now under observation from multiple platforms. The Chinese warship notices the shift. No warship operates blind. The Chinese vessel would have detected increased air traffic, changed patrol routes, heightened sensor activity. This was not subtle escalation. It was deliberate pressure. Why this was America unleashing hell without firing a shot. Hell in modern warfare doesn't always look like explosions. Sometimes it looks like being tracked constantly, losing freedom of maneuver, operating under full spectrum surveillance. The Chinese warship was now surrounded, electronically, if not physically. The electronic domain heats up. Signals filled the environment. Navigation systems recalibrated. Electronic noise levels changed. Data links pulsed continuously. No confirmed jamming occurred, but the environment became crowded. Unverified electronic pressure. Some unverified OSINT sources suggest US forces may have employed passive electronic measures to complicate sensor clarity without overt jamming. No official confirmation exists. In naval warfare, discomfort is a weapon. Why the US did not retaliate directly. The US did not fire lasers back, did not illuminate the Chinese ship, did not force a confrontation, because retaliation would have validated the tactic. Instead, the US chose dominance, and dominance is harder to challenge. The strategic message to Beijing. The response said, you may harass, you may provoke, but you will not control the space. That distinction matters. The incident goes global, quietly. While headlines remained restrained, allies noticed. Regional partners adjusted readiness. Observers logged patterns, analysts dissected signals. This was not just a bilateral incident anymore, it was a case study. Why laser incidents are especially dangerous going forward. Because they are cheap, precise, hard to prove, easy to deny, and once normalized, they escalate. Today, sensors. Tomorrow, cockpits. Next time, something irreversible. The final move, and why it ended there. After sustained US presence, the Chinese warship eventually reduced activity. Not announced, not declared, just a return to baseline behavior. The encounter ended not with submission, but with balance restored. De-escalation assessment. Unverified interpretations suggest the Chinese vessel disengaged once strategic messaging was received. This remains an assessment, not confirmed fact, but the timing aligned. The real winner, control. No one fired a weapon. No one declared victory. But one thing was clear. The US dictated the terms of escalation, and that is power. This was not an isolated event. It was a preview, a demonstration of how future confrontations will unfold. Light instead of lead pressure, instead of fire, signals instead of strikes. And in that environment, discipline decides outcomes, because next time, the laser might not stop at sensors, and restraint may be tested even harder.